Okay, today we're dealing with my wife's computer, which is a HP Z440. We have continually upgraded it over the years. Got 64 gig of RAM. We've decided now SATA's not fast enough, so we're going to go NVMe. And we have found an official turbo drive card, although I have confirmed this machine works with the Chinese ones. So we're going to install a drive in this, and then stick a heatsink and whack it in the board, and hopefully we can get it to boot from this. It should be fun. First step is finding a 1TB NVMe, such as this crucial one, which channel supporter Alan donated some time ago. This one's already got stuff on it, so we'll clear that off first, but that should fit in here just nice. Okay, so nothing of value on this drive. I'm going to pop you out because we're going to probably drop this in and use a Kronos True Image to clone the current SATA SSD to this NVMe. I have a box full of other SSDs I'll plonk in here that the same channel supporter Alan also donated to me. Now we have also ordered in a fancy pants heatsink to go with this too. We've got a nice heat pipe heatsink, so we'll install all that in a moment. Alright, we have our SSD in. I've got to be careful not to manhandle it too much by this because I can damage the connection here, but this is going to have to go in slot 4, I think, because the slot 1, where we've got an 8x slot, probably it's going to clash with the video card. So we're going to stick this in slot 4, which I think is where HP recommend you do it anyway. But I have to wait till that computer's no longer in use before I can do that. Plus we're going to go secure boot as well, so we're going to do all that conversion first. I do want to take a look at some of the I/O on here, specifically what some of these are. So I'm going to use my phone as a magnifier here. We have jumpers, so this is obviously for hard drive activity, so I can take the front panel connector and plug into that and it will flash the light on the front. For hard drive activity, I don't think we're going to bother, nobody looks at it. These are dip switches. I'm not sure what they're for, so I guess I'm going to look up a manual of some kind. There's a jumper on here. I don't know if that's for fan or what that's for. There's obviously a choke that's meant to go in here that's obviously not in here, but I think we should be pretty right. So we'll get this all happening and report back. Alright, we've just converted to UEFI mode in the BIOS. I have to shut it down, swap the cards out, also change the boot mode to UEFI. For some reason it's just come back again, so and I've got a conversation going in the background here. Right, we've just gone to UEFI boot mode, and I've got to pull some hardware out, change some BIOS settings, and put this guy in. Alright, hardware change time. Power out. Let's put the whole thing up. Alright, hardware swap time. I've got some conversations going up here too. Anyway, we need to find the little clippy things on the back here. And remember how these open up. I think it's like that. We should be able to just rip this one out. No, that has a clip. I need 2 hands. Stand by. Alright, so new problem. This is a low profile card, and these holes don't line up. We probably do need one to help support the card. I will see if the spacing works out for this bottom screw maybe. Otherwise I'll put it in without it and just try not to bump that machine around too much. Okay, back under the desk. We stuck the old one on just with one screw. Gives it a little bit of support. Now we're trying to get it in here, which is going to be easier said than done under here. And in the dark and with cables in the way. Slot 4 is what we want. Let's hope nothing's in the way. Alright, lids on. We're good. We're going to fire it up and select our boot options and do a Kronos True Image. Alright, now this machine is notoriously picky about USB boot. It does have a laptop CD-ROM in there, so we whacked a CD-ROM of a Kronos True Image in here, and now we're doing our clone. Their source disk is being a Samsung SSD from SATA. Going to do that. Let it do its thing, and then we'll select the NVMe. Right, we're going to go. Destination disk is the 1TB SSD. Alright. And yes, wipe it out. We checked that. Do your thing. So we are going from SSD to NVMe. Looks good. Now I'm curious to see how long this takes. I'm used to doing this with mechanical hard drives and it taking forever. So we'll see how fast 1 terabyte gets across SATA 3 speeds. Alright, current ETA is 1 hour. We'll set a timer and we'll come back. Alright, so we'll come back 10 minutes later and it reckons it's got 13 minutes to go. So it's definitely going well. So I'm sitting here watching some videos while we wait. I thought I'd point out, this is why you're not seeing too much Land Rover content right now. 42 degrees outside, not a great time to be out in a soft top vehicle. Or the 6-wheeler and have to fix something. So yeah, desk jobs it is for a little while. Alright, so it did take about an hour and a half after everything was done in all multiple stages. Now I can unplug the SSD and reboot. Hopefully, if I set the boot right, we can plug the other one in as a backup drive. See how we go. Alright, we see here in the BIOS now, it's showing a bootable device in slot 5. And it knows that it's been cloned. And with eSATA on too. So we'll just boot like this and then we'll see what happens. Also going to turn on fast boot. And we also told it to remember the memory training last boot too, so because we're not changing the RAM. Alright, see how we go. Okay, so we can see 2 system drives here that have been cloned. Hopefully disk O is what I think it is and disk 1 is that one. So disk C should be that one. So let's have a look at this and go properties. We'll see if this looks like the CT 1000p SSD. So yes, it is booting from the SSD. Awesome. And so this one, we should see that it'll be a different one. Let's have a look here. Yep, this is a Samsung QVO 1 terabyte. So that is the SATA SSD. Okay, we are booting from an SSD. Now we can run Passmark. Now, just based on a quick install, this SSD is no longer the bottleneck to installing stuff, which I like. The CPU's doing some heavy lifting now. Okay, we've got Passmark up here. Now, we're starting with a CPU temp of about 40 degrees, GPU of about 37. It is quite a hot day. It's like 42 degrees outside, so the ambient temperature in here is about 30 Celsius, just to let you know. So yeah, we're gonna start a test. I think run Passmark. That one, I believe. Run all tests. Yes, we'll get an overall score. We'll see what happens. And we can indeed saturate all CPUs, which is good. And the fan has just picked up. So we're bumped up to about 70 watts usage on the CPU. Alright, so for some entertainment, I'm watching this, and this is the GPU test. Holding our own at about 60 frames on the GTX 1660 Super at 1920 by 1080 at 8 times multi-sampling. The GPU is not doing much. The CPU is not doing much. The GPU is definitely working. Sitting at about 57 degrees for a little bit there. CPU still ticking away at about 40 degrees. Here we go. I got 150 frames per second on this one at 4 times multi-sampling. CPU getting involved in the bit there. Disk is not doing much at all. Alright, a bit of score penalization because we can't run at 4K. That's the monitors just don't do that. But it is such is the case when you have some free hardware, as in all 3 of these monitors were free. What are we at the moment? Well, I didn't get to see the scores. I'll wait till it's done. Except fractals. This is a Mandelbrot fractal. Oh, I like these. This was like my first introduction to the craziness that computers could do. Was a Mandelbrot fractal. Alright, now I'm dizzy. Alright, now into the bits that might have changed since I did the CPU upgrade. Last time I didn't get a chance to fully test this. We're doing the memory reads and writes, so we're seeing CPUs being involved a bit here. Alright, disk speed's happening. We're at 100%. That's interesting. So we're doing sequential read test. So I wonder how we go there. Let's see. Hopefully the heatsink I've put on there will help keep this under control. We were about 2 gigabytes a second That's pretty good. Considering we went from SATA 3, how are we going to go here? This is the fun bit of doing upgrades, is watching all the numbers. So sequential write is what it's doing right now. This is where you'll see the numbers tend to drop if it overheats. It's looking pretty solid. There's a couple of ripples in the read test here, but she's sitting at 2 gigabytes apparently at the moment. While it's right, oh hang on, write speed 1.4, 1.9. So she got a little bit hot there, I think. Yeah, well, no, has that finished the test maybe? Or has it stopped? I wonder if it had an overheat. No, it's finished the test. Doing IOPS, and we're doing pretty good. Alright, final pass mark of 6525.1. The CPU mark's pretty nice, I like that. Nice, bit better than my apprentice's machine, which got about 3800. I have to bench test my desktop machine one day. Anyway, we're good. The disk upgrade is complete. I will get the final verdict from my financial manager at some point later tonight. But that'll be in private time. We'll see you later, and I hope you had interesting on this one. And yes, it's a hot day. We'll be back into it. As soon as the weather cools off, we'll be back outdoors.